Last week I brought you the frog-themed emotional journey that was Green-Black Value Town. I had another meme, which is admittedly far less competitive, planned for this week, but when I failed to win the first 7 games with it, I decided this mystery meme might need some more time to ferment. However, when I blew up all these jump players' permanents in game 1, he did lose his proverbial shit.
The room is labeled competitive, not fringe shoddy versions of decks, so it wastes everyone's time.
Look mate, if you can't adjust to the heat, get out of the fucking kitchen. So instead this week I continue our adventures in Value. Come with me, I'll be your guide. Everyone's favourite format warping mythic rare is ready for its close-up. I present to you Blue-Black Heartless Scarab Drifter featuring the Gravy Train, or you can just call it Blue-Black Value Town for short. You see, I'm confused. Does Scarab God have a beetle for a head, or the head of a beetle? More importantly, where would he wear his tie? On his here? Or here, like Rambo or Charlie Sheen from Hot Shots Part 2. And this is the part of the video where some miserable fucker who came only for the gameplay tells me something like, "Oh, I'm 2 minutes and 33 seconds into the video, and all you've made is some shitty joke about Charlie Sheen and Hot Shots Part 2. Well, look mate, if you aren't enjoying shitty jokes about Charlie Sheen from Hot Shots Part 2, are you even alive at all? Is life worth living? Also, another pertinent question, would you rather have a beetle for a head, or a head for a beetle? This is a blue-black mid-range deck looking to bury our opponents in card advantage and cascades of value. We play a plethora of cheap cantrips and interaction, looking to rip their hands apart, kill their creatures and set ourselves up for the mid to long game. A key card this week, much like last week's Green-Black variant, is Heartless Summoning. This 2-drop allows us to play far too many 5 and 6 drops, more than any modern deck should reasonably be able to play this side of Living End. We have a small Liliana suite which I personally believe we could expand, perhaps more copies of Last Hope and even Liliana the Veil, or perhaps a copy of Death's Majesty as well, but I'm not quite sure what we would cut and how to shift the numbers. The core engine of the deck comes in drawing through the top of our deck with Mole Drifters, everyone's favourite value-setted fish, which can be evoked for 1 blue mana with Heartless in play, or can be cast as a 1/1 flyer for 3 that draws us 2 cards, which makes Elvish Visionary look like complete shite. That's right, bin them all. Fuck those disgusting elves. In addition to this, we have a little bit of spice. We have Venser, who gives us the ability to interact with problem opponents like Blood Moon, or be able to recast our own drifters where needed, and Hostage Takers gives us some more removal, but allows us to gain value off our opponent's creatures. Sidisi is a one-shot shooter that can exploit away our weaker 1/1s or creatures stolen from our opponents, or even a Scarab God, which will then come back to our hand at the end of turn to go and find what we need, such as removal spells or interaction. The core game-winning top end, however, is the Scarab God himself and his accompanying Titans. Scarab God for 5 mana is a little bit slow for modern, but Scarab God for 3 mana thanks to Heartless is nuts. Now 4 mana Grave Titan, there's still 7 power across 3 bodies, which is a very good rate. Ultimately, Heartless fuels the deck, but our card quality is high enough that we'll be able to disrupt our opponent's gameplay and just slam threats that our opponents will struggle to deal with. Our sideboard packs some Graveyard Hate, counter spells, sweepers, and of course the 4 copies of 4 mana mage to hedge against midrange's biggest predator, Tron and Scapeshift. I look forward to living the dream of playing a 4 mana mage for 2 mana and then 2 turns later bringing it back with the Scarab God to do it all over again. As always, this deck and this video and the channel in general is brought to you by sponsors and supporters who are helping me to grow the channel and take this whole content creation thing seriously. My patrons, of which biggest are rolling past now, are a huge help. You guys are the MVPs and have allowed me to dedicate more time to streaming, memes and videos than the average adult should be able to do. The easiest and most efficient way to support the channel directly is to head over to Patreon and pledge a couple of bucks to the channel. Just $1 a month could give potentially hundreds of times more support than your views alone would. And then of course we have MTG Traders and Cape Fear Games, a collective entity that has been supporting me for some time now and helps by providing me access to all sorts of crazy decks and cards. They're basically enabling the fever dreams and frantic memes, and I love them for it. You can buy digital cards from traders and physical cards from Cape Fear Games. Use the discount code that's on the screen right now, GGGetWrecked, to get 8% off your order and support the channel. Now, without further ado, let's grind these little fuckers into paste. We turn one Inquisition and find our opponents to be on some form of Eldritch Evolution toolbox, including everybody's favourite Oops I Win wizard, Magus of the Moon. I assume our opponent is on Kiki Cord. We take the evolution in order to take away his ability to find the appropriate silver bullet and also lessen his chance of just combo killing us out of nowhere. Opponent leads with the Wooded Foothills and we get to cast an uncontested Heartless Summoning, which feels good. We are very aware of the path in his hand and thus need to be careful when we deploy our god to avoid him doing nothing. I guess rather ironically, the least instant value card in our value centric deck is our titular headline card. He requires time and setup to really get going, but when he does, he's very good. Our opponent makes a land drop and doesn't do anything else. With no pressure, we are free to deploy Liliana and tick up. He discards a Magus Vegas and we ditch Heartless number 2. Feels good. Our opponent plays an Idol of Rhetoric. We use Liliana to kill it and leave mana up for Venser, which we use to bounce his tracker off the stack and gain some tempo. He plays a fetch land for no inherent value and we feel pretty good about how things are shaping up. He cracks the fetch and paths our Venser, which is perfect. This feels a little overkill and perhaps the opponent is tilted and probably shouldn't have done that. We untap and slam the gravy train and tick up Liliana. 4 mana, 7 power, 7 toughness, 3 bodies. Seems fucking legit. Huntmaster comes down like some kind of shit Grave Titan, because that's all Huntmaster of the Fells is at this point, a shit shadow of a Grave Titan. We draw a Thoughtseize and take a look at his hand, we deploy Big Beetle Boy and then strip his hand with Liliana. We are now in top deck mode and we have a Scarab God and a Grave Titan online, and he just has this little hunty man. Seems decent. We swing with Grave Titan and our opponent concedes. GG Grave E. We keep a perfectly respectable hand that can sculpt a win. He leads with Birds of Paradise. We Serum Visions, finding some hand disruption and bottom the lands. We're looking to use hand disruption to tear apart any potential combo. Our opponent slams a Wall of Roots and we untap and use Thoughtseize to look for potential payoffs in his hand. We take away Cord to avoid combos and allow him to have Kitchen Finks. We use a Visions to set up further land drops and another Mel Drifter. Kitchen Finks joins the battle. We opt to Heartless, then evoke a Drifter, finding all the lands in the world, perhaps maybe too many. We get slapped by Finks. We make a 1/1 Drifter for 3 mana and draw more lands and more summonings, which doesn't feel good. Serum Visions finds us a 3rd Heartless summoning, followed by a push we top and land we put on the bottom. At end of turn, we see a Resto Angel from our opponent, but leaves us dead to Kiki Jiki Combo Maker if he has it. We get lucky, and there's no Kiki. He plays a Voice and swings. Moldrifter pads out our life total by chumping the Angel, and we untap and kill the bird with our Collective Brutality. He has no cards in hand, so we don't bother taking a look. He plays another Voice, and we feel bad about not pushing the Angel on our turn, as I simply forgot about the second clause of the Voice of Resurgence. Anyone would think I've never actually played with Green-White Hate Bears decks before. Punt. We draw our first Hostage Taker and assess our options for it. We can in fact Hostage Taker his Angel, play the Angel, blink a Hostage Taker and steal one of his voices all this turn, but I completely missed this line until a few moments later, instead pushing the Angel and stealing the Finks of Hostage Taker. What's even worse here is that this line of play is particularly bad when you consider the fact that stolen Finks will return to the battlefield under the control of its original owner when it persists. Yeah, we should take a bit more time to think that through and realise that perhaps before I'd actually cast the Hostage Taker and took a worse line. Derp. We take a lot of damage going to 1, he plays a Mum and Pops, 1-stop, Thop to Shop, and we have seen enough. Let's go to game 3. We mulligan a completely unplayable 7 into a moderate 6. I scry Damnation into the top of the deck and decide that I want this card in the matchup and decide not to crack my fetch land because it will shuffle it away. As we pass the turn to him without casting in position, I consider the fact that I could have taken this all-important turn 1 mana dork and kicked myself a little bit. But we get lucky and he has nothing. We in-position him turn 2 and take his turn 2 play. This helps to strand Evolution in his hand with no target and gives him very little to do next turn. Fire Justice needs to be kept in mind as we look to sequence threats and lines of play. Of course, following the old mantra of being lucky is better than being good, our opponent top decks another Voice and casts it in some kind of resurgence, you might say. Oh, come on, it wasn't that bad a joke. Leave it out. We give our opponent a turn to draw a land for his Fiery Justice and instead look to develop our board by drawing cards and hitting land drops if we can, so we evoke a Drifter and bingo, we hit the land ready for next turn. We get hit for 2 and he fails to find a land. We Hostage Taker the Voice, which opens a blowout of sorts if he manages to draw a 3rd land and cast Justice to kill our pirate. That said, that would then leave our Scarab God to be able to sit uncontested when we cast it. Scarab God is much better when we can untap with him. He doesn't just die to Fiery Justice. We make land drops, Thoughtseize away his removal and cast his Voice from out underneath our pirate. That is value. We are living the dream. He fails to draw a 3rd land and we win. In round 2 we have a hand that cannot cast any of our spells except for 1. Let's keep it and see if we draw that one last land to make this semi-playable. We mill our opponent with Thought Scour, draw Heartless and enables almost all of our hand and find out that they're either on our old school Ponza list or Mono Green Devotion. He leads Birds, which I look forward to stealing, and we play Heartless. He plays Utopia Sprawl Tracker, which seems like a pretty good setup for playing big ugly cards that we struggle to deal with in future. We Hostage Taker, stealing the bird, then cast it, and it dies to state-based effects. I totally saw that coming, honest, and that was not a punt. We block the Tracker with a Taker, with the intention of reusing it with our Scarab God to deal with the Tracker later. He then Molten Rains our blue source, which is a bit rude. We untap, make a land drop and cast Beatley Bub. Yeah, buddy. He generates more of his own value with a land drop and swings. We decide not to chump, as drawing another land puts us in position to reanimate a Tracker out of his bin, or a bird, or Hostage Taker. Our opponent plays the infamous post-combat Bloodbraid Elf, which goes and cascades into a Blood Moon. We failed to hit a land drop, but Serum Visions managed to hit one for us for next turn. No Scarab activations this turn. Instead, we took a 5th land and bottom the position, as it's pretty weak in the mid to late game against ramp strategies where we're trying to stop or deal with payoffs at this point and not his shitty little 1-drops. We cast a Shrunken Tasigur. I like to imagine Heart of Summoning allows us to play shrunken head versions of regular creatures, just like in Beetlejuice, complete with the squeaky voices.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, stop it! Hey, you're messing up here! Come on! Whoa! Whoa! Stop it! Whoa! Hey, this might be a good look for me.
He attacks and we keep Scarab God back to allow us to ensure an activation next turn. Tassie G goes in front of the BBE, opening himself up to a bolt. He begins to tap mana, but it's far too much mana for a bolt. Oh no, it's a Titan.
Not like this.
Good night, sweet Tassie G. We untap, make a land drop and activate Scarab God to eternalize a Hostage Taker and steal his Titan, which feels very, very good. He threatens lethal with Tracker, so Scarab God goes under the metaphorical bus. He plays an Arbor Elf. We untap, cast a baby Inferno Titan. That's 2 out of 5 Titans cast this league. Yeah, buddy! We use Titan to kill our own Hostage Taker to enable Revolt and push his huge Tracker away. We forgot to attack first before doing this, so we basically miss out on 3 points of free damage. This line feels pretty good, if a little even on the value exchange. I feel like we're in a great position here to take this game until he casts and Monstrous as a Storm Breath all in the same turn. Oh boy, we're dead. We're very, very dead. In game 2, we keep a hand with Disruption, a Drifter and a Sweeper. Seems fine, if unexciting. Our turn 1 position finds Sprawl, 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 Blood Moon and Stone Rain. We take the Stone Rain and look to ensure we use a fetch land next turn to show us up against the Moon. Our opponent leads with a Sprawl and we do nothing for turn 2. We see another Sprawl into Blood Moon, we cast a Heartless in our turn, evoke a Drifter and get flooded. Well. Our opponent plays a Tracker but no 3rd land, which is a blessing. We Serum Visions, draw a Pirate and top a Grave Titan. We might have a game of Magic yet, boys and girls. He slammed into me with a Tracker and a Stormbreath Dragon, meaning we simply have to take the dragon next turn. We take it and slam it for 3 mana out from underneath the Hostage Taker. Oh, the baby dragon's so cute. He makes a Garruk and makes a beast after attacking Tara's Tracker. We kill Garruk Stormbreath and then we cast a Titan. Value. Plays a second Blood Moon. We phalange without much consideration for the implications. We plan to potentially keep this Hostage Taker for his second dragon or Titan if he plays one, but with no blocks from him, we decide to press the advantage and take his Tracker to avoid a situation where we accidentally get killed on the crackback. He then concedes. We keep a 2-lander with Disruption and cantrips in it. The Titan is about 1,000,000 miles from being cast, and there are worse 6s, so I don't feel too bad reflecting on this keep, even though it's not ideal. Our opponent leads with an Arbor Elf, we draw Damnation and lead with a Watery Grave, shocked in to look for Blood Moons in his hand with Inquisition. We see one of the most terrifying sights in all of Magic, triple Stone Rain.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Or had all your lands blown up. It's fine, just have to hit runner lands and the game is ours. Even a push could put a stop to or slow down this plan, as he's relying on his elf to play these off these 2 lands. Naturally, we take the Molten Rain, which is basically a Stone Rain with upside, swallow hard, wipe our brow of sweat, and move on with the game. No surprises, we get Stone Rained. We draw a land, fetch a basic and cast Visions. We see 2 lands and put them both on top of our library. Better lucky than good. We get Stone Rain again and begin turn 3 with no permanents in play. So this is how this feels. I really need to play some Pons on the channel at some point. We are getting hit by an Arbor Elf as he hits his 4th land drop and does nothing, which means I can only assume he either has 6 drops in hand or more lands in hand. Other possibilities obviously are removal like Bolt. We fetch end of turn, shuffle away a dead certain land on top, which might be where we really shat the bed on this one. We cast a Scour and we don't draw another land. Arguably casting Heartless for a guaranteed Moldrift next turn, excluding Blood Moon effects, might have been a lot better. He does nothing but chip away at our life top with that 1/1 Arbor Elf. We draw a 3rd land and use Liliana to kill Arbor Elf. Beast Within turns Liliana into a Beastie Boy. We draw our 3rd Heartless Summoning, which feels a little frustrating if I'm honest. We use it to evoke a Drifter, which fails to find any more lands, but does get us a Tasigur. We attack for 2 instead of 3 because I was playing the league late at night and my sequencing is fucking terrible. Inferno Titan kills my little beast and I draw a 2nd Damnation that I just cannot cast. Tasigur is deployed as a speed bump. Titan gets chumped, he plays a Tracker, we draw and fail to find the all-important land of literally any description to allow us to wrath him, and we are dead.
Everyone knows that butterflies come from caterpillars. So, what do beetles come from?
In game 3, the Cavern of Souls on Elf really gives away what to expect from our opponents. We use Inquisition to take away an elite and get ready to pray his collected company is suboptimal. Of course it isn't, because it isn't my collected company. He lands almost perfectly with an Archdruid, making Liliana the last hope in our hand significantly worse, and I can't be bothered to waste my time on this game, as we see, thanks to Inquisition, that he's just happened to draw a second copy of fucking collected company and can make infinite mana next turn. We failed to draw a third land as well, just to rub salt in the wound, and we are fucking dead. Go to game 2. I keep a 1 land off the strength of Double Push and Inquisition, and spend our first turn setting up ongoing land drops with Serum Visions. We Inquisition, see he only has 1 land, and knowing that elves play so few lands, we understand that killing his 1 drops means he will never get to cast his company. We take a 1 mana Dork and push the other one. This land of play is rewarded when he fails to play another land. We cast Visions, find another push, and top another land. We violently shove that other elf. He drew a Heritage Druid over the last 2 turns, which allows him to curve land into elite, into emptying his hand, so instead we just kill it and deploy summoning so that he can't do that. He plays a Nettle Sentinel, and we steal up Hostage Taker and cast it ourselves. Value. No second land drop again, and the deck is being punished due to its low land count for keeping a hand dependent upon 1 mana creatures against a black mid-range deck. Not that he knows exactly what we're up to be fair to him, but yeah. We cast a Scarab God and swing, we watch him play a land, and we attack. He uses Druid to block the Captain Stockholm Syndrome and takes 5. We cast a DC, sack the Nettle Sentinel that remains tapped, find ourselves a land. He main phases a company for some bizarre reason. We flunge, a block is made, damage is dealt, and then boom goes the dynamite as we blow up the world with damnation. He plays an Archdruid onto an empty board, and we play a 4 mana Grave Titan. He concedes to this. He obviously doesn't enjoy gravy with his chicken dinners. We keep a triple push hand and feel okay about this. We push his first elf, we Thoughtseize, take his company, and kill his druid. He plays the Azuri we knew about off a land we didn't, so we still have the perfect information about what's left in his hand. We draw and cast Collective Brutality, but make a mistake here. I want to kill Azuri 100% and take the cord we know about in his hand. However, we ditch the push in order to escalate, because ditching a land would mean we can't cast Hostage Taker on curve, which, as we all know, functions as both a body, removal, and card advantage. I mean, if I said that again out loud, Hostage Taker is so good that it functions as both a body, removal, and card advantage. The card is fucking nuts. Do you think what I did here was right? Let me know in the comments below. Should I have ditched the land, perhaps, and hoped to draw another down the line and kept the push to make sure we can just kill every elf he plays? Let me know what you think below. He plays out his hand, 2 copies of Heritage Druid, we steal 1 with Hostage Taker, and he plays 1 more Dork. We untap and fail to draw the 5th land for Scarab God, or the Heartless to shrink his cost. Hostage Taker gets in for 2. We play the Heritage Druid, and he does a weird thing where he offers the trade in combat, and we take it, trading Druid for Druid. He rebuilds post-combat with an elite that brings a friend. We use our Fresh Collective to drain our opponent and kill his Mana Dork to disable Collected Company off the top, still unable to cast our god. Our opponent plays an Archdruid, which is very good, and I wish I kept my Collective Brutality available now to kill it. We draw Liliana, which is bad against a board with the Archdruid on it, and use it to shrink the front end of the elite and force an unprofitable attack if he wants to pressure Lily. Of course he draws Collected Company, and of course he finds an Azuri to threaten Lily for next turn, and of course he finds an Ewit to get back the Collected Company as well, because things have to go so fucking right for this guy. Must be nice. Yeah, I sound salty. I'm just really tired while I'm recording, so perhaps I should be nicer about it. I mean, sometimes you just have it all, and yeah, that's magic, right? Now we really want to draw Damnation, especially as he main phased this Collected Company for some bizarre reason. We draw a second Liliana, which feels like some kind of sick joke, like our deck is purposefully giving us things out of sequence. Like these lilies would be so good earlier on to kill his stuff and follow up from the pushes, but no. We uptick Lily and play Lily and uptick Lily again in order to kill his Archdruid and take him off 4 mana or more, so he can't cast any more companies, and no Azuri activation to kill us. He gets in, attacking me directly to ensure a trample kill in a turn or 2, and any creature we block he just regenerates with Azuri and the green mana. He plays the 4th land, but it's tap 1, meaning we've got Collected Company coming next turn unless we draw some hand disruption. We draw quite possibly the worst card we could at this point, a useless Inquisition of Kotalek. Fuck. We uptick and kill Ewit again, though this feels loose in hindsight. Or at least during the next turn as I talk this line through with my co-pilot and stream co-host Rob, killing this lowly elf would have minimised the impact of an Azuri activation and thus served us better than killing the Ewit potentially. At least you guys can learn from my mistakes. He swings, we block, we draw a fucking Thought Scour, it finds us the magical 5th land, and we uptick Lily to kill the 1-1, but a company finds an Archdruid and the 1-1 survives the activation. Because of course it fucking does. And we are fucked with a capital F. I can't help but feel that our opponent had an easy time overall, as outside of our multiple pushes in opening hand, we drew very clunky in a very suboptimal order. Sadness. In round 4, we keep this 2-lander and get our Thought Seizers taken by an Inquisition. This is either Mardu, Pyro or Jund. Can we out-Jund Jund though? Seven Visions finds us another land and our opponent plays Bob the Hand Builder. Can he draw it? No, he can't push. We Inquisition and find his hand to be Lily, Thoughtseize and Push, and a shit Grave Titan Impersonator. I deem Push to be an absolute non-factor in this matchup and concede the fact that we're going to take his Liliana and then he's going to take ours. Bingo, he did it just as I thought he would. We get to cast a Heartless Summoning and untap with it as our opponent decides not to shock and slam the Huntmaster onto the open board for reasons that are unknown. We cast Fish's Visionary and hit a land drop thanks to his silky smooth value trails. We don't bother firing off Inquisition as we do not care about the push and we can't take the Huntmaster. We untap and draw a Grave Titan which feels pretty solid against Jund. We slam the Gravy Train into overdrive and he bolts our fish. The funny thing is, he would only need another 4 copies of Lightning Bolt to clear up this Grave Titan mess we just splooged over and onto the table, like one dripping value phallus. Our opponent exclaims that our deck is awesome, and I take the time to shamelessly plug the channel to him, because, you know, you've always got to be on that YouTube grind, you know? Our opponent plays a shit Grave Titan and we laugh. We swing, summon dudes, and play a Beetlehead. In his turn, Terminate kills our beloved Titan. However, we untap and dome him for 4 life loss and scry 4 thanks to the synergy of the Gravy Train and the Scarab God. We see 2 more of the Beetleborgs and put them on the bottom of the library. We cast Titan number 3 on our Whistle Stop tour of the M11 Mythic Rare sheet and tap down his Huntmaster and swing in. Wolf blocks 1 Zombo and Push gets another. At this rate, he will just die in my upkeep to the Scarab God trigger. He realises this and concedes. In game 2, we mulligan a load of land into a serviceable hand. We can't cast the Thoughtseize or the Grave Titan, but hopefully Seven Visions will just get us there in terms of finding a black source. Our opponent makes some land drops, but doesn't cast anything. We decide to Thoughtseize after finding a black source and see that his hand is lacking lands in general, especially those of the Black Mana, Persuasion or Variety, and we take the Scoos as it's the highest impact card against our deck. Our opponent misses a 3rd land drop, says GG, and concedes. So here is an issue with friendly leagues on MTGO. You can play against the same person twice in one night. Here we have the Ponza player from round 1. Again, it's grudge match time, baby. We keep a solid hand that could do with some more interaction, but Lily is good at killing dorks, so this might just be fine. He plays a dork, we draw a push like a god, and we push it and kill the elf. He plays another elf, and we play Lily and eat him for breakfast. He misses a land drop and casts Utopia Spore on his land. We resolve Heartless Summoning, evoke a Mole Drifter, and then down tick Lily, plan to pick up the Mole Drifter from our bin, which is buckets of value, but instead we hit Grave Titan and put Gravy Train back in our hand because Gravy is back on the menu, kids. In his draw step, we Ghost Court his Spored land to put him back on mana. This is fine as summoning and the land in hand drawn off the Drifter allow us to play a Titan next turn. The plan is to Frosty down one of his only 2 lands and stop him from playing any magic, almost like a 6-mana build your own Blood Moon style effect, really. However, he concedes in response to the Ghost Court activation, Ghost Quarter OP. We keep a hand that can play around Blood Moon and Disrupt, although our pressure is a little slow and clunky. Double God is a shame too. He runs a Forest into Sprawl. We play a Delta and don't fetch in case of Blood Moon. In reality, if I wasn't an idiot, Inquisition would have just looked to take a Blood Moon. However, this line does play better against Stone Rain effects, so it's a tough call to say whether I did this correctly or not. He plays the Tracker, so I decide to not crack my fetch in case we draw that push. We draw a push, and I gloat to Rob via Discord saying that I am so good at Magic and I should be on the Pro Tour. We fetch a Mountain Island, push his Tracker away. Stone Rain then blows up our Swamp. Shit. We draw and play a Marsh Flats, fetching a Swamp and casting Inquisition. We take away Beast Fin to protect our lands and pray he doesn't draw a 4th land for this BBE. But of course, on all good antagonists in movies, he dramatically rips what he needs at the moment's notice in order to make the fight seem more dramatic. And he cascades off of BBE into a Tyrus Tracker, which seems like real value. I'm jealous. We hastily get slapped upside the head. We play a Tasker and pray it's a big enough roadblock here. He Molten Rains us off Black Mana again and we feel rough. Relic annoyingly forces me to click more things than I'm comfortable with every turn, which pisses me off. We don't draw a land. He doesn't do much either except activate the fucking Relic. We draw a land, evoke a Drifter and find more lands. Yes. He plays a Storm Breath Dragon, lols. We then draw Damnation, which is even more lols. We search for a basic, swim with Tassie D and blow up the world. That feels good. I have said it once and I'll say it again. Wrathing away a board feels like a particularly satisfying wipe after a rather violent and ill-tempered bowel movement. Ooh. Ooh. He plays a tracker and we play a Scarab God. He cascades into Blood Moon with my Blood Red Elf. Bloody. He won't crash into my god and lose a dude, so we get to untap and consider options. We evoke to activate Raid and push the tracker to remove a source of card advantage from him. Stoneman takes out our swamp, so we don't get to grind him out with an Eternalized Drifter or tracker this turn, sadly. Even more interestingly is that we no longer have any basic swamps left in our deck, so we're looking to draw Drifters or Frost Titans to win this game, which feels quite unlikely. We set our visions of find a bend, so we can end of turn bounce the Blood Moon, allowing us to Thoughtseize it away and play more magic with our black sources. However, Primal Command plows our island to the top of our deck and goes and finds Stormbreath fucking dragon. We need to use Venser now to put the dragon back in hand and Thoughtseize it away in order to buy time to find Drifters or a Frost Titan. Surprise, we draw the island and play it. We Venser the Blood Moon back to hand and Thoughtseize him, and we take away the Stormbreath. We could have taken the Blood Moon, but Scarab God activations could not waste the Stormbreath, especially if he could have monstrous it next turn anyway, so we have to take the dragon to not die. He replays Blood Moon. We draw nothing and get into the red zone because we need to apply some pressure. Venser hits him for 2. He has more top deck to close out the game than we do, so we have to apply some form of pressure. He then plays a fucking Scavenging Ooze, which is going to gain him a lot of life and get very, very big and change this whole race and dynamic. The interesting thing about this whole game setup is that the Scarab God dies, we can't even recast the fucking thing because we have no black mana available to us. We draw a mountain and more summonings as turns go by and eat all the creatures he can, and we stare each other down as we both draw 0 gas. Eventually he throws a Blood Red Elf under the bus to try and grow his Scoos bigger than our board to be able to swing in and cause us to chump. He cascades into an Arbor Elf of a BBE, we chump with the Scoos and kill the BBE with our god. Then we draw Frosty Boy. Look at him with his icy, glistening, solid abs. If we have our way, this means that the Scavenging Ooze is never, ever untapping. We're doing it. We play to our out, and we are fucking doing it. Scarab God gets in, bird blocks. Opponent plays a Charmed Torch of Defiance, which is literally a 3-turn clock at this point. We have to swing at her to kill her, and she dies. Every time we swing, we freeze the Scoos with Frost Titan. Arbor Elf connects with us, trying to win this race. The little elf that could, staring down gods and giants. We keep tapping down the Scoos, crunching him for 11 damage this time round, and we just clench. A true 5p moment where he doesn't draw a Bolt, Inferno Titan, or Stormbreath Dragon. We clench and we breathe. He concedes. We got there. 3-2 in our first friendly league with the deck is a decent start. It needs some refinements. For a start, there are far more double black costing cards in the deck than double blue spells, like the Lilianas, for example, so thus we need to reconfigure the mana base slightly and the basic count. The Defiler Drowneyard is too cute as an enabler and it isn't worth the slot. Deck could even play some Creeping Tar Pits too, potentially, to give itself a bit more of an aggressive sort of ending to the game. I feel that 4 Scarab God is probably too many. 3 might be the best number. There are also some other good cards that I think could be silver bullets in the deck, perhaps a Chupacabra as a 1 of 2, as it's good off of Heartless and good out of the bin with Scarab God. What do you guys think? Any glaring changes I should make to push the deck towards being competitive? Anything you would change or include? As always, I'm looking for your feedback on the deck and the video. Let me know what you think and what your favourite bit was, or what you want to see on the channel in future. And remember, if you don't have anything worthwhile to say, or don't have anything you want to see from the channel, a couple of fuck off Johns will suffice. I hear he's been brewing some silly nonsense in Pauper lately. It's about time I played some Pauper on the channel, so perhaps that's something we can do. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and if you want to support the channel more directly, click the Patreon link in the description below. I stream every single Monday at
7 p.m.
BST, and I'll be affiliated soon, so you can come and give me your free Twitch subscriptions as well. So until next time, and in the words of Digital Napoleon,
don't neglect the ball, always shift ma fondule.
filth.